Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today, we're going to be breaking bad and changing a broken model. And I have a passionate, incredible industry expert here, first time guest, Traci Barrett. Traci has spent the majority of her career living and working between Los Angeles and New York City, where she was represented by the renowned agency art department. Her work has appeared in leading fashion and culture publications, including Elle, Nylon, L'Oreal, Vogue, Paper, Grazia, and ODDA. Her celebrity clientele includes George Clooney, no big deal, Justin Bieber, I mean, who's keeping track? Keisha, Olivia Wilde, Barbara Streisand, Dave Grohl, Snooki, Adam Sandler, Lily Allen, Katie Holmes, and Michelle Rodriguez, among many others. In 2025, Traci acquired The Root Salon, an established salon in Uptown Phoenix. She is currently leading its thoughtful rebrand and remodel, reintroducing the space as an eco conscious, Japanese inspired salon and head spa rooted in artistry. Gosh, are you already fired up? I'm like over the top. With over 25 years in the industry, Traci has worked across every facet of hairdressing. She's known for integrity, precision, and long term vision. She is a true craftsperson, shaping not only hair, but the future of what modern salons can be, which is why she's here. I can't believe that we get to have her. I'm so excited. Welcome, Traci Barrett, to Be on the Technique.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. That's a hard bio to follow. I guess it's my own, but I'm just like, oh, yes, I'm here.
You were like 25 years old and already did everything that every person, you know what I mean? Like, if people are watching today's episode on our YouTube channel, I love that because you get to see the faces behind the names. And Traci looks so young and cool and fresh, but has accomplished so much in her career already. It's very inspiring. So I'd love to start at the beginning. How the heck did you get into hair? Were you like in Los Angeles as a child and got to know all these people? Like, what is up?
No, not at all. So I graduated first. I started answering phones at a corporate salon in the 90s and fell in love with hairdressing because I was like, I'm pretty sure we're all just gossiping and putting art on each other's head. Right. And so graduated beauty school in '03. I was in Phoenix and I was living in this art commune and I started building runways with my bare hands. I'm pounding boards and like covering girls in latex and doing runway hair. And a guy friend of mine said, you can get paid for this. And I'm all, what do you mean? He's like, go to LA or New York. This is a real job. And just on a whim, I was 19 years old. I put everything in my car and just drove to LA with a dream, no place to live, no job, and kind of just went from there. I just scrapped my way up the food chain and ended up lasting about 15 years, just covering the scope. Fashion week, celebrities, advertising. It was a time, that's for sure. It was a great time.
I mean, it is a different level of artistry. And you really worked all sides of the fence. It's like you tapped into every possible way you could be an artist in the industry. And what I notice about your celebrity clientele is that it means you've done a lot of different varieties of work. You hadn't necessarily honed in on just, I only do lived in color. That's my only, you know what I mean? Tell us about that.
So, and I want to say thank you for pointing that out because that's actually one of my passions now as an owner is the idea of inclusive hair design. And I think at some point that was either lost or just didn't exist in general. And I love niche. I think it's powerful. But for me personally, I wanted to learn to do it all. I wanted to feel like anyone could sit in my chair with any fabric of hair and I can deal with it. I can help you. I can treat it. So I assisted a lot of huge people in order to hone that skill set. And that's what I share with my staff now is we're all inclusive. We can do anything. And I don't expect everyone to do everything, But it's important, I feel like, to know and to greet every client with care and say, I can do your hair and I care about you. Right. And that came from years of just being thrown into it and being on set and being with different hair textures and working with all of them. And I just think that's really important to incorporate into the modern salon.
I just love that you allowed yourself to have a variety of experiences. It sounds like you're a why not? Let's do it. Let's go for it. And I'm curious, out of all the things that you participated in, what are some of your top memorable experiences?
I think one of my tops is being on tour with Kesha. That was a big one. That was really fun. I also just love Fashion Week. So New York Fashion Week always got me, and you never get paid anything. You're just doing it for the love of the craft. But being able to collaborate with designers and makeup artists to create this complete vision that emotes a feeling, it's same with doing editorial and print is just something that gets me so high. I can't describe it. Working in a collaborative experience for one definitive outcome is like a kind of art that I miss making, to be honest.
I know it's quite the pivot. What brought you to Phoenix? Was it the salon opportunity itself, or you
Well,
found
this
yourself in
is
Phoenix and then this opportunity came about?
Yeah, so this is actually a really important part of my story. So you can imagine with that level of career and that those credentials and starting so early at such an early age, there was a lot of, and I didn't know this consciously, but a lot of ego that I was carrying and rewiring that I didn't know needed to happen. And I really believe the universe puts things in your path that are lessons. And this is it's weird to have this mindset about it, but what happened was my husband and I were living in LA and I was traveling so much. We had our daughter, we had a baby. I had my daughter on over 15 flights before she was a year old. And we just kind of looked at each other like, is this how we want to raise our kids? So we decided to come to Phoenix, where I'm from originally. And within 6 months, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And so that was over 900 days of chemotherapy.
Oh my
And
God.
during that time, the internal work was so powerful. You can imagine that being at the top like that, my whole identity was wrapped up in career and it burnt to the ground,
Mm.
right? Like it was just over and it was during COVID. So we were in complete isolation for 2 years. And then coming out of that, we realized, oh my gosh, like 3, 4 years have passed and we've been living here. And who do I want to be in my 40s? And what do I have to say? And what matters? And at that point, I decided it's time for me to open a salon. I think I can do it better. And I think that I can hybrid the Instagram social world with the traditional salon model to make something really beautiful and modern and something that can stand the test of time. A place to go with community and education right out of school. I mean, the applicants I have right now, right out of school, there's nowhere to go anymore, right? Like the old big players, of course, they still exist, but there's been no merge or evolution into the modern, right? Like we're all still kind of like the big box hitters are feeling still very 90s, but then we have influencers who are all living in isolation. So where's the middle? And that's what I decided that I wanted to spend my 40s creating.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm so sorry to hear that your daughter went through that.
I know I dropped that as if it's she's doing amazing. She's 8 years old. She's cancer free. She's
Oh,
thriving. We're very blessed. So thank you for that.
oh
But
yeah.
she is doing incredible. And I think um, the power that comes with tragedy and the ability to overcome those moments because we all have it. And it may not be something as dramatic as my child survived cancer, but we all have stories, parents passing, things that happened in childhood. And those things mold you and make you. And I am grateful for that. I'm grateful for what the takeaways were and the ability to humble myself and get out of my own way and see the world and meet humans where they're at. I think that's incredibly important as a service provider, too. And I think feeling like you are the the show when you're performing a service is a dangerous place to be, right? Because we're service providers, in my opinion, first and artists second. So I think that as a career hairdresser, you have to remain humble and open and remember why we're all here. We're all here to make the person in your chair feel beautiful and seen. And in order to do that, you have to maintain a sense of self awareness, and remaining grounded, in my opinion. So it all happened the way it was supposed to happen. And I never would have been able to run this and launch this the way that we are without those things happening.
And now it's clear that you have a heart and mission to help new stylists to the industry feel seen and heard and help them elevate and but with the right mindset.
And
So
mindset
that
is,
do you see that right out the jump, like right out the gate, like with this newer generation, are their expectations in line with reality? Like what are you noticing?
yeah. So right now, no. Coming from the 90s and early 2000s, we assisted, especially at big salons. I was the director of education for a while at Sally Hirschberger, Los Angeles. You don't assist there for less than 3 years, right? And there's a reason for that. Hairdressing is craft and it takes time to hone that. And there's so much more that goes into it than just how to cut a one length or how to do a graduated bob, right? Like, I think there's a lot of gray area, trends change, and you have to be able to evolve your techniques with trends and also in conjunction with that. Without a mentor that's standing beside you and supporting your journey, you're going to have a really hard time. So I think the expectation with the kids right now, because of socials, is their number one goal is to grow socials and get behind the chair in under a year and run a suite. But the average hairdresser quits after 3 years. And those have been the stats for decades. And now I feel like it's even worse. And what's happening is they just want to rush to the finish line. And what you don't realize is even with a large amount of followers, that doesn't always translate to butts in the chair,
Right.
right? And so getting to this place again where we're bringing back the integrity and we're creating mentorship and we're creating an education pathway for you. I am currently rewriting the education program. And in Roots education model, you have to fill 4 pillars. So it's not just technical. You're filling 4 buckets simultaneously, and one of them is service, right? Do I know how to perform service? Do I know how to actually hear my client and what they're saying and what they're looking at in that picture? And then achieve it, and then hold space for them and everything they're dumping on me in that appointment, and then reset mentally to get to the next. So all of our ethos are surrounded in protecting the craft in alignment with service. And I think that doesn't happen from coming out and passing boards, right? Like that takes a lot of mentorship and a lot of years. So that's what I'm working to build and build that support.
I love that. And I love how you brought up just the old model isn't working anymore. When we think about breaking the bad and moving on from things that just don't work, what are a few things that you're like, absolutely, this has to be kind of done, or we're not going to be sustainable as a community long term?
Well, that's a tricky question to be honest, because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot that goes into it. I think one of the first things that I did was I removed the receptionist. I felt like that was, and that's really controversial, but I felt like there were so many kids up front that were not hairstylists. And I like to think about it like a doctor's office. By removing the middleman, you're only communicating with my stylist, right? So you're always getting licensed professional assistance instead of wasting the back and forth with the desk of that's not how much time I need, or this person or that person. Like it's just, that's not high end to me. So that's the first thing I eliminated. The second thing I think is heavy product pushing. I think that if your profit and your margins are dependent on selling retail, you're in a bad place. I think that intentional alignment with brands is super powerful and important. I think that sending your clients home, I still believe this, with what they need to replicate their style, incredibly important. Shouldn't miss that. But relying on retail margins to keep the doors open, I'm done with that. Like that's not a business model. I also think that contracts, non-competes, all of that out the window. I think there's a way to create such a space of community and collaboration that you want to come to work here, right? The traditional model is meant for stylists that want to be inspired, want to collaborate, want to work with others, want to always be growing and challenging themselves, but also don't want to do their own taxes, don't want to outsource their own education, don't want to run their own comms, don't want to have to figure out how to inspire themselves all day. So it's the perfect situation for the person that it's the perfect situation for, and I don't believe in managing and running out of fear. I think that that is what bankrupts salons and burns out hairdressers is this fear-based mindset of if this person leaves, my whole model is going to crash. If that person wants to leave, there are 1,000 salons in my area. Do you know what I mean? Like I am not going to like clench onto you. That means you're just not aligned and that's okay. And you should go work where you're thriving and you feel supported. So I think a lot of that just like control mentality is for me what's out the window. Like I want to create a safe, collaborative, inspiring space where everybody can make money and everybody is constantly elevating and winning.
And then in contrast to that, in addition to you rethinking education and those four pillars, which I absolutely love that you focus on service because the heart of a provider is to serve and you feel better by making others feel better about themselves, right? So in
Yes.
addition to that, what are a few ways that you've changed the model to really embody your vision of what is possible for the future of salons?
Well, something that was really important to me was sustainability. So we're a Green Circle Salon, which I love, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with Green Circle. It's an incredible organization. It's incredibly labor intensive to pack up those boxes every week, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Um, it's
And
incredible
you've
what
talked about brand alignment. So in my mind, you have this
exactly.
eco-centric, yeah. So it's green circle. And what else are you doing to be kind of
And then
aligned
I've
with that?
also partnered with Milbon. Do you know Milbon? It's a
No.
Japan. Oh my gosh,
This is
girl.
why you were like Japanese inspired salon. I need to hear about this.
Okay, so the first thing that brought me into this, I've always been inspired by what they're doing in Asia, right? They
Yeah.
always have the best beauty products, the best hair products. You're out there trying to get sheet masks and all kinds of stuff. So K beauty has been trending for a while. And then comes on the scene head spa, right? Once I heard about head spa, I was just like, oh my God, why have we been neglecting the scalp? Who's looking at the scalp besides us?
Well, nobody.
So then I started on that journey. There's so many beautiful head spas that are spa like. Our space is not necessarily a spa, but we assess your scalp and treat your scalp. So you can get scalp facials, you can get red light therapy, you can
Oh,
get all these things. We talk about supplements. So I love the whole body approach because all of that, how much water you drink impacts your hair health, right? And your scalp health. So once I went on my scalp journey, I discovered this brand Milbon. So what's amazing about Milbon is they're actually rated higher than a B Corp in Asia because they're environmentally positive. Second, they own all their own formulas to the point where I have met the Japanese scientist that created the color and product line, and he has come to my salon. And what that looks like is so hard to explain. You're basically working alongside the people that are developing the products, and they do this on a regular basis. They come out to salons and take feedback from hairstylists, and that's how they create new things. So Milbon has been around for over 70 years. It's still a family owned brand, and it's been in the US for 25.
Okay, I'm already like, okay, for people listening, when you say B Corp it's higher because it's positive. Most B Corp are neutral. They've covered their, so they don't have an impact, but you're saying this company actually makes a positive impact on the earth and sustainability and whatnot. So I think that's very cool because I actually have never heard that.
And something that's really amazing about them is that they are still 100% salon only, to the point where they have salaried team members that are pulling from Amazon on the daily. So you cannot buy Milbon anywhere except for in a professional salon. And when you see the products, once we get off this podcast, and I'll send you a link, or you can look up Milbon.
I'm literally sitting here like, can I buy it off your website from you?
You're going to freak out. It'll change your hair. And I'm not kidding. Like, to the point where people, yeah, like it's just, but I digress. So because they own all their own formulas and have everything is proprietary, it's the performance is incredible and the integrity is off the charts. It's beautiful. And when you see the products, you'll see why they need explanation, right? It's not a product that you can just look, oh, this does this. Like, it's 4 steps for a treatment. You'll see, so it needs to be sold and applied by a professional. And that really keeps the standard.
I'm like fiending. I mean, from one girl to another who loves the beauty, everything, skincare, hair care, all the things. Like, I'm like, sign me up. When
It's
can
amazing.
I take a trip out to your salon for
Come out
right?
here,
like,
girl.
I'm serious.
Yes.
I'm serious. I'll be like, look, the same woman who did Justin Bieber's hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And I
Let's
was like,
it.
baby.
Yeah.
No,
Ooh, I like that.
We are too much. So this is fun. What else do you see for the future of salons that you feel like now it's 2026? Come on, salon owners, we need to do this. What would this be?
Honestly, this sounds so redundant, but the biggest miss, I think, is the education. I think that a lot of traditional models say they offer education, but what does that really look like, right? Like, is it I offer education because I'm sending you to an influencer event once a year? Or I've been in salons where I offer education, and what that looks like is a BTC password. Or that to me is not education. Education for me, what it looks like is I teach once a month foundations, and then we have once a month advanced classes, and then I teach one-on-ones every single Wednesday to every staff member. So to me, like, that's what education is. Everyone has a tracker. Everyone's progress is being recorded. You have landmarks, and it's all recorded. And I hate to use the word official, but I would say real, right? Like, real. And there's a standard. Like, I want to create the French Laundry of corporate salons. I want to root in every city. Yeah. And I think we need it. I really do. I really think we do. I think people are floundering, and I think they're isolated.
And I love how what I'm taking from what you provide is that true mentorship, how you said at the beginning, like, if you don't have that mentorship, like at Sally Hirschberger's salon, like how that's a 3-year thing, because
Yeah.
mentoring is so pivotal to your lasting success. That's something clearly that you're doing that they don't get at a lot of places, is that person who's got your back, that
Well, and
team.
it's
Yeah.
it's a standard though, too, right? I don't want to say that every salon that exists on the planet needs to have a 3-year program, but that's the standard I'm personally creating. Does that
Wow.
make sense? I
Yeah.
just think the first year you're cutting your teeth, right? The second year you think you kind of know what you're doing. The third year you're starting to get requests, but now you have more questions than you've ever had because you're actually busy.
Mm.
So I like to kind of explain my education model to fresh graduates by saying, think about this as your master's, that was your boards, but now we're actually doing your masters, right? Like if you think about watching, like I love watching The Pit. I don't know if you watch that, but with doctors, there's
Yeah.
tiers, right? And
Yeah.
there's a reason because you have to observe in application, you have
Mm.
to observe in process. And part of that is the fabric of the hair and the human inside, right? Like, what's your lifestyle? How much do you style your hair? How much do you want to spend every year? And all of those things are so human to human base. You can't train that in a 6 week program. Like that is hands on life experience.
Mm. Well, I love that. And for everybody listening, you can watch The Pit. At least I know for sure you can watch it on Hulu. And it is this medical show. Like, you
It's
know
so
how we
good.
were all obsessed with Grey's Anatomy? Well, now people are obsessed with The Pit. So it's cool that you brought that up. Just,
I love this show.
um, so what keeps you inspired personally? I know that you brought up French Laundry. Like, are you following that kind of different, just different business models or within the industry or both?
Yeah. So, what inspires me is business right now, to be honest, just because I've been in the hair industry for so long that it's hard for me to still draw inspiration from it. So, I've moved into restaurants. And actually, our internal docs and ethos emulate a restaurant. In my salon, we even have a safe word, which is borrowed from hospitality, which means at any point of the day, if you're about to blow or you just can't take it anymore, you can use the safe word with any team member, and the entire team has to rally with no eyes rolled, no questions asked for 10 minutes for you to be able to get a break. And that's borrowed from hospitality. So
Wow.
I'm very inspired by Michelin star restaurants.
So I'm just throwing this out there. So I'm assuming it's yes, but you have gone through the Unreasonable Hospitality book. I forget the author, but
Oh my
you know what I'm
gosh,
talking
girl.
about?
You're like the 10th person to recommend this to me, and I still haven't read it, but it's on my list.
You're going to be so fired up because of everything you just said. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And just my business partner talks a lot about so I brought in, this is another fun part of my story. When I decided to open a salon, I am so creative brain. I am creative brain. And I've watched many salons that I've worked for over the last 2 decades fail because of that. And I said to myself, I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to be the one that runs payroll. I'm not going to be the one that just does any of that. Right. So it was perfect timing. My best friend, we were 7 years old, I pulled her out of corporate and I was like, I want you to do this with me. And she's like, well, what am I going to do in the salon? She's very granola. She has 3 kids. She's like, I'm not putting on makeup. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But she has scaled multi-million-dollar companies to franchise. And she really takes that load as far as the operations side of making sure there's an execution and follow through and not just a bunch of ideas like in the ethers. Um, so she's really helping a lot with that alignment. Did I answer your question or did I just give you a bunch of information?
No, it's awesome. And I think it's a testament when somebody has a friend from that long ago that is special in and of itself and not common. And what a baller. Like, what a cool situation. It just screams, let's elevate one another. This is about collaborating, not competing.
Yes.
It shows me that you're a girl's girl. There's so much I take with little things that people share. This is why I love podcasting, that I summarize and I'm like, this is what people don't actually see is happening. And I see it, and it's very cool. And it speaks to why you've been so successful, because you look at the bigger picture of what is possible. And I just like that about you.
Yeah, I think the bigger picture is my sweet spot. And I also think, and I like to tell my staff this too, and just anyone I'm mentoring, start to know your blind spots, right? Like I do this even with my stylists. It's know my blind spots. I have a great stylist here, and he is so good at my blind spots. And this may just be things happening with the building. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing 5 podcasts and it's like, Trace, the dryer's broken.
Yeah.
But those things, like once you start knowing that about yourself, and you'll hear any massive entrepreneur say this, you better put people in your corner that are good at the things you're not good at. And that's all the beneath the surface work that people don't see, right? Because they see me as the talking head and how did she do all of this? But I'm not doing any of this by myself, right? Like there's a whole team that's supporting me, and it's vice versa, and I'm supporting them. And I think that that's what humanity and life and creation is all about. It's not about becoming famous. It's about how can I leave a mark on the earth to help and support and grow others before my time is up.
Yeah. Well, you are leaving amazing legacy, and your daughter's strength is your strength and vice versa. So I think it's awesome and very, very inspiring. Before we wrap today's conversation, what would be some words of encouragement or final kind of words of wisdom for specifically salon owners right now who are, it's still the new year and they have different hopes, or maybe they're going through challenges and they want to maybe rethink their business model?
Yeah, I would say for owners right now, my biggest piece of advice would be to try to think differently. We are evolving. This industry is evolving at such a rapid pace that the old model is not going to work. And it doesn't need to be my model, but there are a lot of beautiful mentors out there. We see them all over Instagram all the time. Find someone. I have mentors. We all utilize people like this. Find someone that you can learn from and try to break out of what you've been doing for the last decade and think about it, what it could be, because we can bring these people out of the suites that want community, but you're going to have to kind of pivot as far as what that looks like, right? And it's not ownership of a stylist. It's creating a brand that people don't want to leave.
It's awesome. I appreciate you. I'm so happy that we met. I swear to you that I will come and visit you. I'm saying it right
Yeah,
now
you
because that
have
would be
to.
so cool. And now I'm going to be obsessively looking into Milbon.
Oh
This
yeah,
is,
girl,
yeah,
you're all over Milbon. There'll be Milbon. They sell it somewhere near you. Go find
we'll
a
check it out.
Milbon salon.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
cool. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and just sharing just your life and being so open and vulnerable with us. We really
Of
appreciate you.
course. Thank
And
you so
yeah.
much for having me.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you love this platform, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.
Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.